conversation. Conversation between James and I. Probably 2012, 11 or 12, I think.
Long time ago.
Yeah.
Definitely a long, long time ago.
I think we were just tired of, a lot that the world was putting out, the media was putting out. This individual is working extremely hard. I know I'm working extremely hard. I know, but why aren't the wheels churning for others the way it is for others as it should be for us when we know we're doing the right thing? And that's kind of really how it started.
I would say, yeah, I'll piggyback on that. So it genuinely started with conversations that I had with this man and Trent as well. We would just spend hours sometimes talking. I remember one day, literally, I maybe laid on the couch in Trent's house for like a solid 4 hours, literally just talking and speaking about people in our friend circle, people in our families who were going through tough times, but we knew that they had what we considered values that were worthy. They were people of integrity. They were hardworking. They were people that looked out for other people around them. But the results that they were getting as far as being recognized throughout their community or maybe with their company and then their financial burdens, of course, we saw what that looked like for people who we thought deserved more. And so the platform was sort of born out of that idea.
As just to piggyback off of James, that was a very long night, and I'm really big on helping people. Like, I love people, and I told JR, like, there's so much more that we could do to reach out to people, and we was like, well, let's get it together. Let's put something together. So I joined the organization called Department of Parks and Recreation. It was located in D.C. And basically, I met these great group of men, Mark Williams and Kenny Diggs, a gentleman named Bowden, and Reggie. And those guys inspired me tremendously. They were all about what I was trying to do, and that was help the community. And I got with James, and I was like, man, I got a great team. And I think this is one of the groups that we could put in this book that we want to establish.
First story in the book, by the way.
First story in the book, Eagles Nest Youth Association. And from that point on, we just kept pushing. I gave him a few people that I thought would be great to put in the book. He caught up with SETI. SETI went along with it. And then we made magic.
He makes it sound a lot more simple than it really is. He's literally, he was joking earlier and called himself the plug, but he is. Trent is just one of those guys where if you spend time around him, his energy is infectious, and because of that, he has so many great relationships with people throughout the community, and they see that in him. And through that, we've connected with so many other stories in the book. A lot of them are people that he reached out to very organically. So that's a big part of it too.
When did you begin writing?
Okay, so that was for me, I guess. So as stated earlier, I was an English major at North Carolina Wesleyan College, and my minor was journalism. And so journalism has always been the thing that keeps me going. I love, more than anything, I love stories. My family will tell you I love movies, music that tells a story, anything that's story-oriented, but then also it has to be based in reality. It has to be based in truth. Those are the things that called to me, and so journalism was just, that's always been my passion, is telling true and genuine stories. So specifically on the book, I probably started writing, I want to say the end of 2014, the beginning of 2015. We started writing the first couple of stories, and then some of the ideas, if you've read the book, they're little pull quotes that separate each of the stories, and those are ideas from SETI and Trent and myself. So, but yeah, about, I'd say 2015 was when we first started writing.
What is your favorite story in the book? I have a couple. A few personal ones, of course. Robert James collection. That's probably one of my favorite ones. The Conversation Tea. That's probably one of my favorite ones. Yeah, yeah. Oh Shoot photography. You know, all of those kind of like.
You can't name the whole book.
Yeah, so you know, just top three right now.
For me, the two that stick out the most, obviously I'm a little biased. Eagle's Nest is that's a crazy story. But the two that really hit home for me were Conversation Teas. Two guys, Tom Richardson and Rob Frockling from Raleigh, North Carolina, were actually homeless. And just through some good conversation and being around some good people at the Oak City Outreach down in Raleigh, North Carolina, they were able to put together some funds and create a T-shirt company. And whereas most companies, especially coming from where they came from, being homeless, you would think it would be all about the profit for them, but they committed to donating 10% of their sales back to Oak City Outreach, who helped get them back on their feet. So that was just, for me, it was a reminder of, you know, it doesn't matter where we come from, just how far we can push things. And then the other one, I would like to shout him out. I invited him. He did not come out today, but shout out to my guy, Mo Better. Anybody that knows Mo Better around DC, he is the definition. You know, we lost an icon earlier this year, Mr. Nipsey Hussle, and everybody talks, you know, rightfully so, about how much he devoted himself to his community and giving back to where he came from. And guys like Mo Better inspire me because they're from here. They're from where we're from, and they're doing similar things, and they root themselves in community service. And, you know, I feel like that's something that's just, it's worth celebrating. It's worth, you know, pushing that type of story to the forefront.
So I'm biased. Eagles Nest Youth Association is like one of my favorites, and it's only because I was a part of that. That team is amazing. They don't have the resources, and they made everything happen with what they had. Eagles Nest Youth, yep. With Eagles Nest, they're a small center in Southwest. I call it Southeast because it's literally Southeast, but they call it Southwest. But Eagles Nest Youth Association, it was a small group with a big impact on the community. And when I say that they work hard and diligently, they do whatever it takes to get the job done. They got it done with little money, with little resources. They never complained. They always pushed forward and made things happen. And the community has grown tremendously. It's kind of hard nowadays with the youth that we have because the new millennium is so different from how we grew up. You know, it's a lot of kids raising themselves. The parents are now friends, you know, so it's like they're in the world by themselves. And with Eagles Nest, they took everybody in. Nobody was pushed to the side. Everyone was accepted. So that plays a big part of me. Also, Ashley's agency. She's the true definition of an entrepreneur. She pushes for everything to happen the way she wants it to happen. She's following her goals. She wanted to make sure that she touched her community as well and the people that's from the DMV through fashion, through music, through life itself. So I definitely commend her as well. That's one of my favorite two stores.
Can I just tag on there too? Teen CP, a young lady out of Orange County, California, born with cerebral palsy, and she literally before college spent a good portion of her high school years doing this blog where she was reaching out to other people. Yeah, so shout out to her for even sitting down and taking the time to do an interview with us all the way over here. But every single story in the book is
It's amazing.
It's amazing.
It's amazing.
It's a powerful, true story.
Me personally, they might agree with me, they may not. I just want the people to understand that this book, to me, is to help people receive money and help them push forward to going with getting their goals done. You know, I just feel like a lot of people don't support one another anymore. You know, if you don't have a big circle of friends that has another circle of friends, it's kind of hard to be successful. A lot of people don't like to see people succeed, and it hurts to see that. And I'm saying that because I love people. Like, I want people to excel. I want people to be great. I want people to support one another. And inside this book with all these true stories, people have done so much that has touched so many lives, and they don't get the credit for it. So this is what this book is about, making sure that these people are getting the credit that they deserve.
What Trent said.
I think the message that I would, on top of, I can't top that. But I think to add to it is, positivity still exists in today's world.
It does.
Genuineness, being true, you being true to you. You don't have to, sell out to succeed. I think that's the message that I think this book explains, that we live and die by, that we, encourage and motivate, hustle and motivate. Shout out to Nipsey for that. But, community, all of that, all of the above. So, yeah, on top of what Trent said, I think positivity and, togetherness.
I guess I'll start on that one. There's so many. The Bible, but most recently, reading a book by Eckhart Tolle called The Power of Now, and it's about separating yourself from your thoughts. Right, like a thought can come into your head, but that's not necessarily you. A lot of times, people think that if they think a negative thought or if they experience a negative feeling, that they have to share it. And I think that's a big part of the problem that I was discussing earlier off camera. But everyone can point out the negativity. Everybody does. They spend all day on social media telling you why this person is wrong, why this person needs to be canceled, what they hate about their job, what they hate about their sister, their mom. Everyone can tell you what's wrong in the world, and there's nothing wrong with expressing your feelings. I'm not saying you shouldn't be expressive, but I think it takes a certain level of consciousness to sit back and say, you know what, I experienced those thoughts. I have those negative thoughts, but how can I flip that and say, you know what, let me find something positive to share. Let me find something uplifting or empowering to share, while I'm here, because we all have limited time here. So that's the book I was reading, but the thought that came behind it.
Go ahead, I'm good.
Book that influenced me. I think the last book that I read was Men Cry in the Dark by Michael Baston. I've been knee-deep in research and with get my doctorate, that I haven't had a lot of chance to separate the two. But the last book,
Dr. Heath.
the last book that I did read and I felt like was very it displayed a lot was Men Cry in the Dark. Just how the man of an ego, the ego of a man can be, what's the best word I can use for it? Yeah, especially when it comes to love. And then just seeing it from a outside point of view. I think that was definitely a great book. And yeah.
Mine's is the Tony Dungy story. I'm a big football guy, if you know me. Been playing it my whole life. I've learned so much from it, from discipline to
PG County All-Star in the building.
from discipline to brotherhood, which we have here. That book helped me stay humble because he had a rough time getting through his trials and tribulations, but he always stayed humble through it, no matter how successful he was, which is the life that I want us to live. You know, no matter how good this book does, how bad it may be, however people feel about it, at the end of the day, we're going to still be who we are, and we're going to always remain humble. Came up with that question.
That's a really broad question. My influences are everyone. My family, these two guys beside me, my brothers. You know, reading, like you said, somebody like Tony Dungy's book, or even just listening to an album. You know, those are the things that allow me to kind of zone out and get me motivated to push forward and try to give something back to the world that's given so much to me.
So yeah, that's a broad question. My influences, definitely Lord and Savior Jesus Christ.
Can't go wrong with that.
I think we need him. You know, no matter how much or we think we are, no matter how much money you have, no matter what, definitely nothing can outweigh him. I think then at following him, definitely the Hoves of the world, the Diddies of the world, they are what, society didn't want us to be. African American men that were able to come from nothing to something, billionaires, they influence so much. So I think those two, definitely, those three, definitely are, my influencers.
My influences, I got a couple. My family's number one. They always push me to be who I am and remain who I am at all times. So my family is not huge, but they're powerful. They motivate me consistently. They always check in, make sure that I'm doing fine, and they always want me to check in on them to make sure they're doing okay. But out of my family, I'm going to go with my mother and my father. My mother is like one of the most powerful women I've ever met in my life. She's been through a lot,
Facts.
a whole lot. She's seen a lot. She's done a lot. And we've been through a lot together. Losing my father back in 2009 has pushed me even more to do more. I think that's how I became more of a people and kid lover because of my father. I was fortunate enough to grow up with my father. A lot of families and a lot of kids don't have that. So, he motivated me. And by losing him, it pushed me even more to do more. It made me want to be around kids that didn't have fathers and be that father figure to a lot of the kids and a lot of the teens, like my young boy Elias. He has his dad, but it's just, I look at him as like a nephew, you know what I mean? So I'm just motivated by my family. That's who pushes me. That's my influence.
Let me circle back around to that. To add to that, definitely, I think one of the biggest influencers outside of the three that I named, probably my best friend, Mark. Mark, I lost him when I was 17 years old. He was, yeah. So I think everything that I do definitely is dedicated to him. Going through that tragedy at that age, it will definitely turn a kid south for all to go down the wrong path, because he doesn't know how, you're young, you don't know how to deal with your emotions. So the best way that I could deal with my emotions was to dedicate, the rest of my life to him. So touch back on that.
JR. Just had this conversation.
So our biggest focus right now is this book. As we talked about earlier, the publishing company that was behind this book actually folded. And that left us in a really weird predicament because we already had sold books with them and literally were waiting on a royalty statement to come in when we got the news that they were no longer in business. And
Yeah.
So for us, just staying focused because you got the business major beside me, and then you got Ice Cube to my left. So, immediately our minds went to, wait, what? Where's our product? Where are our books? Where's and so that just kind of put a big damper on what we were trying to execute for this year. But we regrouped, we talked to each other, and we said that we started this thing dedicating ourselves to integrity and dedicating ourselves to trying to do this thing the right way. And we pulled together. We actually had a vendor show in Raleigh, North Carolina that we had promised to do last year, but due to Hurricane Florence, we were unable to execute. And so Seti and I, we got together with our event planner, shout out to Morgan, and we knocked that out first, and then we said we're going to go back to focusing on putting out this book because it's important. We think it's something that people should read. We think it's something that people will get something from. And so that's our current focus is Artiscend Book 1. But with that being said, we have Artiscend Book 2 is in the works. Mr. Boss Man and manager over here to my left, Terence Trent is working on some other products to help build the brand, and we just wanna keep going.
Artisan or nothing.
Artisan or nothing. That might already be taken.
I know, right? That's a great question.
Outside of family members.
I'm going with James. He stays on my neck. I'm going with JR. He stays on my neck for everything.
That's cheating, though. It's still family.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sandbox.
Sandbox. That's tough, man. But there are. I don't want to make it seem like no one's supported us because that's definitely not true. Everybody that's read the book, everybody that's been a beacon of just support and love. Morgan Marshall, our event planner, Signature Events, best event planner on the East Coast. I promise you, if you have a wedding or anything, look her up. But she's always in our ear, a battery in our back to give us encouragement and to help us whenever we're trying to plan things.
I think probably I'm gonna take it back, not to preach, but one of my good friends, Pastor Gerard Barnes, probably he's our age, younger than us actually, who's a pastor of a church. So anytime I need that voice, outside of family, outside of James, Trent, he always seems to bring scenarios that I think and overthink, bring it back down to level and bring me back down to a perspective like, you're going to get through this. You're going to definitely, make it through. Brothers, outside of family, family is very broad. Family is described by love to me. It's not by blood. So you know, to say.
Yeah, that's why it was so hard. I also want to shout out everybody that has spent time reading the book and gave us like a good review or just gave us feedback. Shout out to Dante. Shout out to Sharice Coop. I'm not gonna put everybody's full name on blast, but you know who you are. Eris, one of my coworkers, Jared, who I bounce ideas off of. Yeah, just everybody.
My list is pretty long, but you know who you are. If I had to really name specifics, I would probably go with a good childhood friend of me and James had, Joseph McPherson.
Biggie, what up?
Biggie. Everybody knows him as Biggie. He's a friend, but he's a brother. You know what I mean? He always just calls just to see if I'm breathing. And a lot of people don't do that. You know, people are always busy with their families and work and stuff like that, but he always checks in on me and just to make sure that I'm good, I'm still on the same path that I'm pushing for, and he always just motivates me. So I'm going to go with Joseph.
And one more interruption, so we don't get killed up here. Shout out to Mariah. Shout out to Cherish. Shout out to Angel. You know, whenever we need a battery in our back, we have, all of us have strong women that support us and help us through tough times.
They say we couldn't say family, so that's why I didn't mention mine. But, you know.
Shout out best friend.
Shout out to you, Cherish. She's definitely my motivator.
Yeah.
Yeah. How many more questions do you have? A lot more?
Go ahead. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So then I dip out while asking everything. So one thing about business is not even black business, the small businesses in America. Everybody keeps saying, okay, start a business, make your own revenue. It's not a cakewalk, you know, to be honest with you. And a lot of businesses fail in their first year because of bad financial management, a plethora of problems, you know. So to see y'all raising $10,000 in a team of 3 black men, this is a dream team, like a Naruto Shinobi squad, 3 people just knocking out things and able to like do that. You have the business model, you have the pen game, you have the connector. It's like a 3-man squad. It's like killing it. Can y'all kind of tell me a little bit more? The first question about how was the process with raising the money, and how far did y'all go with raising the money? Can you kind of tell me about that? Because $10K in 30 days to do all that is no small feat, and to flip that, do what you do now is no small feat as well.
So I would like to take full credit for all of that. No, honestly, as amazing as we are, that was a blessing. That was family and friends supporting, and shout out to every single person that donated to that Kickstarter campaign. If you do not know, if you have not received a copy of the book, if you flip all the way to the very back of the book, there are bricks that actually have the names inscribed of every single person that put, even if it was $1, whatever you put to that Kickstarter, you guys helped change our lives. So, but for me, I remember that day. I remember posting it on Facebook, and
It went crazy.
It went crazy.
Yeah.
And
I'm looking at the numbers. And sorry to interrupt. I was looking at the numbers, you know, and I'm like, yo, is this happening? Yeah.
a feeling of, is this real?
Yeah.
And I spammed a lot of people too. So shout out to everybody that contributed and then blocked my number because they were like, don't text me anymore because you keep. But I literally, that entire 30-day period, I just continued to shoot it out to people. And big thank you. Shout out to Julian Borchert, Sam Brashear. Yeah, those are some people that went out of their way to help make sure that we made that 10K goal, and I love them forever for it. So shout out to them.
Appreciate it.
All right, I have a follow-up question. The follow-up question is about how do y'all, now one thing I'm going to ask you again, your way of juggling, you know, your different skills, because it's not just one person, it's multiple.
Right.
But the three-man team in this, like, not even political climate, but the financial climate, like, how did three men, like, it's a broad question to all y'all, y'all can answer. How did three men survive all those odds with just three people and combining your skills? Can you guys tell me, like, how you guys coordinated, like, some false doesn't work out? How do you three do it? Just go. It's fun.
Oh man, that's a great question.
That's a good question.
I think the mastermind himself, he keeps us extremely focused, extremely humble. He knows how to bring out the best in everyone around him. So, at times when I feel like I'm doubting myself, he's there to, yo, Seti, you got the skill, you're just like anybody else in the world. What are you talking about? Like, that's not what so, he knows how to put those pieces in the puzzle together, and make it work, yeah.
You
You just gonna talk about yourself like that? That's crazy, crazy.
do. He brings everybody back to reality.
Yeah.
James he's special.
Yeah, he different.
Ever since I met James when I was in the 3rd grade.
Wow.
Yeah.
I just known him all my life. That's all I know.
Yeah, like James has always been him. He's never changed for anybody. And he's one of the most smartest guys that I've ever known. He's a smart, bright guy. And that's why I love him so much. Because he's different. It's no other way to put it. When you say James Randolph, I just say different. He's a special guy. He can motivate you even if you don't even, you can think that you're nobody. And James is going to make you seem like you are the top dog of the world.
Wow.
He's one of those type of guys. And I appreciate him to the world, like the max. When you're down on your luck, you can fall on James. It's crazy because I've been down, and one phone call to James, or he'll always call at the right time. It's so weird. It's like God is he's always working. I remember one time with James, I was like going through it. I was just so down, and I got a text message. And I won't even lie. Me and James don't talk every day. We don't. We call, we check on one another. When it's business, we on the phone, stuff like that. But we both got our own lives to live. But he called me one day, and I was like crushed, like hurt. And I was just going through the motions. It was my dad's anniversary, and I just wasn't in the right state of mind. And out of the blue, here comes James. I don't even know if he knew it was my dad's anniversary before his death. But he called me. He was like, I'm just calling to check on you, bro. And I didn't answer the phone when he called me because I was like out of it. But he left me a voicemail. And he was just like, bro, I'm just calling you to tell you that I love you. You was on my mind. I want to make sure that you're good. If you don't call me back, we're going to have a problem. Like, it's just, he's always on time. He's just like God, bro. I love James to death. Like, this is my guy. My guy. Man of the hour.
So I love these two guys, and they definitely give me far too much credit, but I appreciate it, and I love y'all both. But I'm really just a reflection of the people around me. I've just been blessed and fortunate. I talked to my mom last night, and I asked her to find me something to wear of my grandmother's, who passed away years back. But she was like the biggest influence on me because I never saw that woman find faults with people. I always saw her find the good in it. If someone came to her house, she was going to make sure that you were fed. She was going to make sure that you were taken care of. And that was like her contribution to the human family. That was her way of saying, this is me paying my dues on being here. And it's the same for me. So, I appreciate what you said, Trent, but that's real. That's not like, I'm not gassing people up. I just, if I see it, I call it. You know what I mean? It's honest. If somebody's working with integrity and somebody's trying to do the right things and somebody is trying to be, a better person in the world, I think that is all of our responsibilities, but specifically mine. I do believe that that's a part of my service and my calling when I see it, just to call it. And I've just been blessed and fortunate enough to have some really good people around me. Seti's another guy. I mean, you can't roll through Zebulon, you can't roll through Raleigh without touching somebody that this man has touched and impact in some way, just by uplifting them, giving them words of encouragement, or being there through tough situations. And I look up to both of these guys, so I appreciate that. Did you have another follow-up question?
I did. That's probably my last one. That was my last one. I hate
No, we're good.
You guys, it's not really, especially super engaged. So it's like my energy is definitely like.
That's great, man. We appreciate you being here.
No problem. No problem. Because I think you guys answered about the royalty check. That would piss me off. Like it was like what happened?
Yeah.
Like he was like, wait, what? Like you're supposed to get your check and it comes folded. I know it must have been big. So I guess I won't ask how your toughest time was because you guys definitely got all the tough times. I guess my last question would be, how do you juggle your personal lives and get right back to the business? Because Trent and I know that's a big one, and anybody can answer this. You can be one person, it can be ever, but I remember Trent was talking, and he just said that, he has his own life with him. He doesn't talk to you, I had a business partner, I don't talk to them every day, but sometimes we got back to business, we just got back to it. You're working on your PhD, and you're right, you're on Twitter with me, also writing, and you're looking at anime, writing your next big piece, so like, how do y'all all juggle like these three kings with their three different skills? How y'all juggle it regular lives and then get back and pushing the product?
Whole lot of prayer.
That's a lot of prayer.
Whole lot of
Amen.
Yeah, I think when you look at the goal, when you look at the end goal, Jay always says, we retiring people. We're in the business of retiring people. So when you think of it in that aspect, he's referring to us. He's referring to our parents, our family. Why that should motivate you. That personal life. That's definitely important. Not saying you should forget about that, but when you have a goal and you've created a black business, then there's things that a lot of people haven't done that we're doing. So the generation coming after us, that's how we get back to business. The generation, our peers, they're posting pictures of our books around the world, in Japan, Japan, posting out, that's gonna get us back to business. Just thinking what's next, what can I be doing now? What could we be doing? All right, we had this break, we got through the hurricane, so we postponed the event in Raleigh twice. He only mentioned once. It was the hurricane, then the snowstorm and so we came back and we got to do this. I was getting discouraged. He was like, "No, we owe it to the city." Bam, don't worry about it. We're good. That's how we get back to business. So it's a lot of things. It's not just a one answer thing. It's a lot of things that enable us to get back to business.
I would say I'll chime in on that too. Staying focused is so important, but I also think being authentic is important too. And I think a lot of times, at least what I've seen, is people get so wrapped up in their work that they forget why they're working. And it's the weirdest conundrum you see. You hear the stories about, oh, he's a billionaire, but he doesn't have a family, he doesn't have anybody that loves him and cares for him. And so, not to say don't go get your money and don't go take care of business, because you should, but I think you tap into something special in the universe when you have genuine connections with people, and it's not just about, like the business has to mean something to people, otherwise it's just paper. You know what I mean? It's just you're accumulating a bank account for what reason? So I think finding out what your why is, why you're doing the things that you're doing, whether it's retiring mom, whether it's you just want to be the greatest rapper that ever rapped, whether it's you want to be a beacon of hope in your community, and you want to just make sure that as many kids get through high school as possible and find college scholarships as possible. Once you find the why, I'm a firm believer, my faith is that once you find the why, everything else will come. Everything else will come.
Just to piggyback off of James, my why is why I make time for what we do. It's people like us that's going to push other people to be great. We're the people that's going to motivate them to push forward and do the right thing in life. We have to feed off each other. When it's positive energy, everything goes great. If everything is bad vibes, you're going to flop. So my mindset is to always push forward and motivate, as James has motivated me to move forward and Seti has motivated me to move forward, and just keep grinding and working on our future. Because without no future, there's no us. Who's going to take care of us when it's that time of the when we turn 65 and 70 and got to trying to push forward to make sure our moms are good and our dads are good and our kids and families are good. So we just got to motivate. Time management is everything. It's hard to balance at times, especially with me. I work 14-hour days, you know, and I still push and grind just because I want to motivate. I want to make sure that my family eats at the end of the day, and I'm going to do whatever it takes. That's me.
Absolutely. Thank you.
We got a question in the
yes.
back.
Got a question in the back? Absolutely. Product is available right now. Yeah. Product is available on Amazon.com. It's titled Artiscend Book 1. You can type in either of the authors' names, Mossette Heath, Terence Trent, or James Randolph, and it should pop up. Also available on Barnes & Noble's Nook. Yes, sir. Trent can sing. I can't rap.
Neither can I. Shout out to Cole, though. Yeah, it's just, you want to...
I would say I think music is a powerful medium. I think that rap is powerful in its ability to tell stories, similar to what we're doing. I just think that that market became very oversaturated because people saw it as a quick come up, as a quick way to make money.
Yeah.
But no, I think that music is and people that know Trent, like they know he was in a band. Shout out to Next Level Band and Show. But yeah, music, at least not for me, wasn't my calling, but writing was. Shout out to Lori Lyles, who wouldn't let me go to barbering with Trent and fought literally to make sure that I stayed in AP English because I wanted to go cut hair with my brothers, but she didn't let me do it.
Absolutely not.
I wouldn't at all. Truth is truth. Motivation is motivation. Everything in that book is nothing but truth and motivation. It makes you want to go do something positive.
I would have done it sooner. A lot sooner.
Bars.
Because we were sitting on the idea for a while. So if anything, I changed doing it a lot sooner. I think like I said, the conversation started in 2012 or 13. We didn't get the LLC to 2015. We were sitting down on it, sitting on the idea.
We're still trying to find ourselves too. I know I was.
Yeah, absolutely. The publishing company that is no longer in business had a team of graphic artists. We all sat down. We sent them some ideas about, because the company logo has an arrow in it, because the name Artiscend is a combination of the words artist and ascend, because the platform was built for artists and organizations to elevate just based on what they were doing within the community. And so we sent the arrow concept over to a graphic artist, and I forget the young lady's name, but she killed it. She sent us back 3 or 4 different ones, and I think we all agreed unanimously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
the business.
Yeah.
Writing the book, getting us three together and on the same page, as difficult as that sounds, was the easy part. Like, we were all, everybody on the stage, we're all focused, all people who are willing to work hard. But, when outside factors come into play, it throws everything for a loop. So just staying faithful, staying dedicated to what we were trying to accomplish and to push the book out successfully, it means the world to me.
I think for me, it was that people really are buying into it. I think I got discouraged at one point, and people want good stories. They want positivity. Not to put any negative media platforms out there, but it's a world driven off of in likes and videos and who can get this and negative news and everything, and that's what we're fighting against. So that's our biggest competitor, actually. So knowing that people is willing to buy into the product, buy into us, they support us, and taking that mindset into everything that we do. That's the thing that I learned.
Response.
Don't do it. No, I'm kidding. Absolutely, man. Like I said earlier, just find your why. Find out, what it is that you want to convey, what message that you want to present to the world, and don't let anything stop you. We are living proof that anyone can do this. You know what I mean? Like, we don't come from families of great generational wealth. We don't come from, a place where people have New York and LA connections that can put you in front of Penguin and Random House. Shout out Penguin. But we stayed together and we made something happen, and that's what I'm most proud of. So I would say to anybody who has something in their heart that has a calling and says, I want to put pen to paper, or I want to start painting on a canvas, or I want to start doing community outreach work. Write down your why, put it in your back pocket, and go to work.
Where are you all from? Where were you born?
Right here, born in Washington, D.C. I was raised in Temple Hills, Maryland.
Born in George Washington Hospital. Lived in D.C. for a hot second. Moved to Temple Hills, Maryland. Temple Hills raised me.
I'm originally from Dublin, North Carolina. Born in Greenville, North Carolina. So born and raised, NC.
DMV, NC, pointing at.
You have a writing style versus like writing?
I just anywhere that's thought provoking. Like I'm literally looking out at what's this, 16th Street, and I'm just imagining if I was able to just sit in this room and just write for a few hours. So literally every place inspires me to write, but anywhere, any class.
Who's the book for the audience?
Everyone.
I was about to say.
Everyone. The book is for everyone.
So
Anybody that's looking for motivation, anybody that want to know inspiring stories. Everyone. If you can relate to anything in the book, it's for you. If you want to be able to know homegrown stories, it's for you.
It's also for people that are looking to put some money into organizations that are doing positive things.
That's a big part of it. We want to touch on the fact that
right.
it's an interactive book. There's quick reference codes throughout the book so that you can actually contribute
to these organizations, right?
Yeah.
You can actually just scan it right from your phone, and it'll take you to a page where you can connect with them. And that's another thing that we're working on. We want to work with someone like PayPal or Square to get it, so it's a seamless transition. It's just a one inline connects you to these people that are doing amazing things. But that's a work in progress.
Why should anyone care? What's special about this book compared to any other?
At the end of the day, you should always care. And we're trying to get back to people caring. So that's the motivation for this. Everyone that's trying to get back to being positive, if they're down on their luck, if they feel like they just can't succeed, I think this read here is perfect for that type of person. That's just my outlook.
Content. I think we all are, you are what you put inside your body, and you are what you put inside your mind. So you put negative content inside your mind, you know, that's the negativity that you're going to get. You put positive content inside your mind, you know, that's what you're going to get. So why should you care? You know, moving forward, you know, you don't want to waste the mind of something that's precious. So put your mind, your best mind forward, your best foot forward for your mind, and put positive content into it.
Agreed.
Do you see writing as a career?
Yes, we will never stop releasing these as long as I can. As long as my brothers are beside me, I will never stop writing these books. And you know, we could sell 1 million of them, we can sell 10 of them, but as far as I'm concerned, this is the work that we're meant to do. Because I feel like all three of us have the vision. We all see it within people. We see that special spark. We see what they're doing for themselves and for their community. And if I have the capacity, God willing, if I'm able to write new stories, I'll continue to do it. That's fine.
Do you recall how your interest in writing was?
I've always had it. I've always written since I was young. It's always been something that's been a part of me. That was kind of always my outlet. Was to write. Trent mentioned Biggie earlier. Me and him used to draw like random anime characters, which are popping now. Back then, it was like, really, you drawing that? But yeah. So that it was just always a form of expression for me.
Do you have anything you want to say to your readers?
Please go buy the book. Please support because it's important, and because I genuinely believe that everybody that picks up this book will get something from it. I genuinely believe that it's content that's worth your time and energy. And you know, if not, when you see me on the street and speak, I refund you.
What I would like the readers to know, I think it's always a reference of us that, you know, that this right here is the warm-up book for us, and we're coming for a lot more. The blow up, the come up. Shout out to Code Reference. Shout out to Code References, but this book right here is really just the beginning for us. And if you like what you see now, stick by us, and it's just going to get better.
Me personally, I'm just going to say, if you don't have anybody to motivate you in life, use us three to motivate you. We want to give you the positive energy that you need, the feedback that you need, and what you're looking for to push you forward to being great.
Thank you for your time.
We appreciate it.